is Devi from Team DataOps, part of Azure Square. So today I'm here to talk with you about one of the experiments that I have worked upon as part of the experimental Saturdays that we work on in here in Xenon Stack. So starting with the problem statement, the problem statement of my experiment was that we would have needed to create a continuous data migration pipeline for migrating data from a database to a data warehouse for performing and analytics on that. So for that purpose, we have created and concluded a solution that is Debezium. So talking about Debezium, Debezium is a continuous data capturing tool in real time. So how it actually solved us a problem is, so talking about the problem statement, we required to do the continuous data migration, right? So for the continuous data migration, change data capture would have been very helpful here. So for that purpose, Debezium came into the perfect place that we required. So how Debezium helps in that, it actually provides various connectors for us with multiple databases like Postgres, SQL, MySQL Server, and so on. So connected with any of these databases through a connector, it would have actually provided us a solution for capturing all the data and migrating it safely to another data warehouse using Kafka. So right now we will be looking at how this implementation would actually be working. So we have a basic architecture here that actually Debezium pipeline would mostly be based upon in generic as well, and this is how I will be explaining the implementation that I did in my experiment as well. So here, as you can see, on the typical left side there will be the databases. So these databases you can say could be anything like from MySQL to Postgres to MySQL Server, and if you can see, the end of the pipeline would mostly be the data warehouses. So as the problem statement would have been migrating from the databases to the data warehouses, Debezium would have been the glue between them. So right here we see Debezium right after the databases. So how it would actually be working here, mostly the Debezium is deployed via the route of Apache Kafka Connect, right? So Kafka Connect would something we would be using here to use the connectors that would actually let us connect through the left of the middle of the pipeline and to the right of the middle of the pipeline as well. So there will be connected, those are mostly like the YAML files we will be configuring for actually connecting to the source that we will be having on the left side, that is the databases, and the sync connectors that will be on the right side, that is the data warehouses. So this is what the functionality that Debezium would provide us along with the Kafka Connect. So here, as you can see, Debezium would be having a separate connector for MySQL if we would want that, a separate connector for PostgreSQL if we would want that. What happens is, when we do the configuration, we specify the table that we would want to read from those databases, the topic it would be writing to, whatever tables or databases we would be wanting, that will be specified, and the connection configuration for the databases, right? So once that configuration is done, alongside what is done is we have to be pre-prepared with configuration of the Apache Kafka Connect as well. Only then it will be working. So once that is done, we will be running the pipeline. So here it will read the data from the database here through the connector, and it will be written into the Kafka. So a particular Kafka topic now would be having that data. Initially, we can just load the data that is already there. Sooner we can start, you can say, capturing the data in the form of whatever changes that will be done in that database. So in the middle of the pipeline, we can actually read those records that we captured as well. So we would actually be just needing a small Kafka client as a consumer. So we would be using the Kafka client API. You can use that in any language that is most preferable to you. I have used Python. So we would be doing that, and we can actually see the records coming alive when we will be reading through those topics. When the data will be reaching here, next what would be required in the pipeline is we would be having connectors as sync connectors where the Kafka Connect for connecting to these data warehouses. That will be a pre-configuration that will be present on their documentation. We just have to use the templates. There as well, the same process will be followed. We would have to define their configuration for setting up the connection and the topic that we would have to read through. So once that all thing is set up and things are up and running, the pipeline would from here, what it actually would be doing, it would be reading those records in the Kafka topic to the warehouse now. So all in all, what just happened here is right from here, the record gets recorded in the record actually gets traveled into the Kafka, and from Kafka here it gets traveled into the warehouse. So this is how the data migration is happening here via the Debezium. Okay. So this is an overview of how this implementation would look like. So now we will be talking about the use cases that Debezium will provide us and how it will be advantageous to us. So as we started with that, Debezium is a continuous data migration tool. So with continuous data migration tool, we would actually be able to integrate Debezium to many, you can say, sources, I would say. It could be databases, it could be message queues, etc. And hence, many systems can come together to be integrated at a common place like Debezium for data to be migrated continuously to a downstream. So talking about the second use case of Debezium, and that would be the minimal impact on the production system. And we will be asking about how. So since it will be capturing data, it usually reads from a bin log or the logs that will be there in the database system. So it hardly touches the actual system running in the production, having minimal impact on them, and hence this is like a great benefit for us. Third, it would be that it provides integration with many systems, right? Multiple databases, and that could be SQL, PostgreSQL, MySQL. So if multiple databases can come together or multiple data sources can come together at one place using a single tool, that would be a great use case for us for actually creating a data platform and not have to create multiple different data pipelines. That will be a chaos. Talking about the fourth benefit that it gives us is that it is open source, of course. So if a platform is open source, it is continuously evolving, you can say. It is actually bringing new use cases and adding on to the usage of technologies that is coming. So all in all, it would be advantageous for us in the long run to use it, as it will give much of flexibility to the developers when they will be using it. So the last use case would be that Debezium would provide us an abstraction layer. How an abstraction layer? Because if we would have wanted to create a data pipeline before Debezium for a continuous data migration, we would have to access the data source system directly, right? Right now, if we have Debezium in our pipeline, it would become an abstraction in between the source and the sink, and we wouldn't have to touch the source database or any other source system directly. Hence, it becomes an abstraction layer for that purpose. So what value do we be adding with this task to our customer? Real-time insights. Since data will be captured in real time through Debezium, so whatever pipeline we would be having for our customer to gaining insights through the pipeline, that insights will now be real time, and the business will be able to take much quicker decisions now. Operational efficiency. Since through using this real time tool for capturing data, the whole automation process for integrating in the first place will be automated, and there would be no requirement for doing the manual entries now. Third advantage would be faster time to market. Since we will be having our data in real time in our whole pipeline, and the whole product that will be integrated with it, or whatever features we would be having planned in our backlog, they will be pushed in a much faster way to the market. And fourth would be a better data quality in our hand, since the data is captured at the source. So we would be having an option to actually, you can say, clean the data or process the data at the start of it, it wouldn't be you can say there wouldn't be any requirement for us to actually go at the end of the pipeline and then clean and transform the data. With Debezium, we would be having this opportunity at the source itself. Then we can say a better customer experience that Debezium would be providing us. Fifth point would be enhanced customer experience. So whatever businesses will be having a customer at the end of their whole business, so the data in real time will be providing them an opportunity to actually interact in a personalized way to their clients or customers and actually inquire their queries in a much faster time. So now, concludingly, I would like to talk about how this experiment given to me is going to give me a real benefit in terms of working as a data ops engineer here in the company. So talking about how Debezium would be helping me in day-to-day work is creating the data pipeline. Since Debezium is going to provide the data from multiple sources, I can push that data into further ETL pipelines. Doing the data integration for multiple sources will now be easier for me because it wouldn't be a scattered pipeline and much chaotic work as of now, from now onwards. Doing the data synchronization, it is one of the tasks of database, you can say, to have the replication at one place to another. So that is what the data migration would be a part of. So Debezium would provide that thing in our hand in a much easier way, that now the backups would be easier to do. And the other thing would be the real-time analytics. Right, these days monitoring, analytics, performing on the fraud detection and other use cases are very common for us. So providing those solutions to clients and customers coming on a daily basis to us would be much easier for us with the help of Debezium as data ops engineer. So I would like to thank Stack for giving me this experiment to perform, because it has added to my knowledge to a real great extent that is actually going to provide much relief to my research work that I go on or go through daily basis for working on multiple solutions. So I think these experiments are a great opportunity to learn, and this is what Stack has been giving us since the time I have been here and since the time everyone has joined here. So yeah, this was the experiment that I have recently worked upon, and I wanted to share my knowledge with you on it, how it worked, how we implemented it, what problem statement that we actually faced when we actually started exploring on it, and this is what we are going to get from it in our next work that we are going to do. Yeah, thank you for the day.